Welcome to Conversations at the Crossroads. I'm your host, Jenny, witch, teacher, mentor, and your guide as we walk down the crossroads and learn tools that help us in this crazy experience of being a human and the transformation and the liminal spaces and the ever-evolving journey that we're on. This is a space where we explore human transformation, not perfection. And here we honor the messy stuff, the magical moments. Today, I have astrologer Megan from Rooted in Reality, also part owner of the Holistic Treehouse, where we have lots of practitioners who host a lot of really awesome workshops that support the same ideals as this podcast of just growing and getting to know yourself as you evolve. And she's going to help us unpack actionable insights from your natal charts and kind of just the wildness that's going on right now. Stick around as we explore how to turn celestial chaos into personal empowerment. Let's cross this threshold together. So, how are you today?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Doing okay. Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the energy for you today? Today's March 3rd.
Yes.
That we're filming.
Yes. And today's the peak of the blood moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So I've been feeling really tired, but I got some extra sleep yesterday. So I'm feeling better today than I was yesterday. Yesterday felt like the majority of the energy kind of hit me yesterday.
Yeah, I've been having kind of rough starts in the morning, like leading up to this eclipse and everything kind of going on with the full moon in Virgo. I'm a Virgo.
Yeah.
Mercury's in the Gatorade.
And it's opposing this eclipse as well. It's in Pisces.
It's in Pisces, yeah. So I have a couple questions for you just to dive right in.
Okay.
Which major planetary shifts have occurred recently, and which do you feel are shaping the collective energy the most right now?
I think that the thing that we can all kind of see playing out is Pluto and Aquarius, because it's been in there for about 2 years now. And so we've really, and that's how long it takes sometimes for us to really understand the energy that a planet's bringing. So, they call this the age of Aquarius that we're in right now. And it's because of this big shift we're going through in technology, in, a lot of people are awakening. We're having a lot more humanitarian acts coming up. And, situations that are calling for more humanitarianism.
Humanitarian action.
Or, there we go. So, yeah, I think that's the major thing we can see. And it's interesting that Pluto always gets called, it's always debated if it's a real planet or not. It has such a big influence on us, though.
Yeah.
And like just the whole world. And so I think it's just interesting that the patriarchy or whoever it is, the powers that make these decisions of if something's a dwarf planet or if it's an actual planet, they really want to write off Pluto when it has such a huge influence on us.
Yeah. That's interesting to think about, like what the reasoning could be. But my reasoning for wanting to keep it is because if I don't, then I won't remember the acronym that ends in pizzas that we learned in kindergarten. What is it for the planets? It's like the acronym of the planets. It's the order of the planets.
Huh.
I can't remember what
it has to start with M, since Mercury's first. V would be next.
E
for
See, I know I don't remember because I got rid of Pluto.
Yeah.
So, but I love Pluto. I'm a Pluto as a planet girl, personally.
Me too.
And doesn't that, so with Pluto we have 9 planets, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that feels right to me. And 9's my number. So
yeah. I have a Scorpio stellium, so I definitely have a big influence of Pluto in my life. And so I think it should be a planet too.
Yeah, team Pluto for planet. What else is going on, do you think?
Yeah, so all of the outer planets are shifting currently. And in 2025, I was doing my research last night, making sure I have the dates right. But it was between July and September of 2025 that we got a taste of all these outer planets, which, for those that don't know, the outer planets are really what affect us collectively. In fact, it's like what makes the different generations of people. That's why we see themes in different generations, is because those outer planets were in the same signs. And that's what creates, yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So, like, there really is something that is the determining factor of like Gen X, Gen Z, and it's the shifting of those planets.
Yeah, like us millennials, we all have Pluto in Scorpio.
Oh,
Yes.
what does
Yes.
what does that mean for millennials?
That we're here to definitely here for transformation. You know, Pluto and its home sign of Scorpio, like we were here to be the change makers. Absolutely. We're that driving force generation, and the generations that came behind us are very spiritual too, but we were that first generation. And so I think we're the best generation because of that.
Their millennial pride. But I do have that being said, I have love in my heart for like Gen Z and Gen Alpha because these kids, and not even kids anymore, like Gen Z is, we have like full grown adults that are Gen Z, but seeing them in action, like when they were in high school protesting, these kids now protesting, like,
That's Gen Alpha, yeah.
yeah, Gen Alpha, like as elementary students, they were standing up for wanting to feel safe and gun rights in their schools, like, and that, some could say that that was led by parents, but I don't think that it fully was. I think it was the children wanting to express.
It is, but they were the kids of millennials. And
Yeah.
so we're the first set of parenting generation that is doing things completely differently than the generations before us.
Yeah.
And we're really wanting our kids to express themselves and stand up for what they believe in. We're, not shutting them down in the ways that our generation and generations before us were just told to, get in line.
And it's interesting because we're called millennials because of like the 2000s, but really it's Gen X and then it's Gen Y. And we're here asking why. We're like, and we're ushering in the end of that alphabet, and Gen Alpha marks the beginning, like the starting over, right, of the generations.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that we should be Gen Y.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
are, but they also call it millennials because of like,
Oh, okay. So I haven't heard Gen Y.
yeah, nobody uses it because, millennials is fun.
Yeah.
Of course, we want a fancy nickname.
Yes, we do. We deserve it too.
Yeah. So what about, because what I've been super, super interested in and like wanting to learn more about and talking about a lot with like my clients and stuff lately is the Aries, 0 degrees, Saturn and Neptune, like that. It feels big. And I think we talked about it before. It's been like 3,500 years or so since this happened.
Yeah. Actually, never before in astrological history has there been a Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, which, for those that don't know, it's a very critical point. It's a rebirth point. It is the very beginning of the astrological zodiac. And when the sun crosses over that point of 0 degrees of Aries, that's the spring equinox. And so it's the
start.
Yeah, the start of something new.
I mean, it's like if you were looking at a clock, it's like both hands on 12, right? Like
right, exactly.
Very beginning. Because in last week's episode, I talked about how it's like a circle. Everything is, all the signs are 30 degrees, right?
Right.
So like 0 degrees, it's like in tarot, the 0, we haven't even started yet. It's that like first very beginning.
Yeah, and I love how 0 is described as like a portal because it's a 0.
Oh
like
yeah,
the way
it's
looks,
a circle.
But also it's the something that starts from nothing. It's like just like birth,
Mhm.
really.
And so that being Saturn, which is like very karmic, and Neptune being about, I mean, I feel like I think of that too as like really dreamy, but I feel like that's kind of like underselling all of what Neptune.
Yeah, I think, and I was telling somebody else about this morning, there's several things that are being pointed at in the sky that's asking us to let go of trying to figure things out logically and be okay with not knowing right now. So, Saturn is the planet of reality, Neptune is the planet of illusion. And so, when they come together, it's hard to know what is real and what's not.
I
You'll
mean, my husband just last night was like, I don't even know what's real anymore. Looking at AI, this whole like Jim Carrey is a clone thing.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's hard to tell is with the technology and things like, and there's so many people weighing in over the internet and through social media that it's like, it's an echo chamber, but also just like, I don't know, just so many voices.
Yeah, yeah, and also Mercury in Pisces. Pisces is like isn't logical at all. It's kind of all over the place. So Mercury there does not do good, and it's retrograde. So there's another clue that we need to try and not be logical right now. And then this eclipse is really about, Virgo wants to be logical and wants to make sense of things,
Mm-hmm.
wants to think A plus B equals C. But when the South Node is there, the South Node is asking us to release things. So we're asking to release thinking in that linear kind of fashion. And so there's several things that are happening in the scars right now that are just asking us to be okay with not knowing what's real and what isn't. And with all these stories coming out, how can we possibly know anyways? So I think that gives me a little bit of comfort of like, the stars are telling us to not try to figure it all out. We're not supposed to be investigating all of this. We're supposed to be just listening and allowing and surrendering to not knowing.
Yeah. And it's interesting I did a meditation for connecting with spirit last night and kind of practicing. Megan and I are in the same like mediumship training class. That's like a long period. That's the whole thing. But so like I was practicing an exercise that we had learned this week. And when I was connected with spirit, I kind of got like, don't spend as much time with your head up in the clouds, like up in spirit. Remember to stay rooted. You chose to be a human. You chose to have this experience. So just let the experience happen and stop trying to like understand all of it, which like now that makes total sense. Cause I was like, that's frustrating because I'm a Virgo with the Gemini moon. So I want to know the facts.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am in a place in my spiritual journey where it feels not as scary to like let go and trust.
Yeah, and I had somebody last week that she kind of was doing a little spiritual mentorship. She's at the very beginning of her awakening, like so many people are. I saw it with Saturn and Neptune going conjunct, like people that normally aren't interested in spiritual topics are really getting interested now. And then, if we get this alien disclosure, I think we'll see even more of that. You haven't heard about that?
No.
Yeah, Trump, they're like talking about doing disclosing files about everything they know about aliens.
Oh, so those files they'll give us.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that's going to add to the noise of what we don't know is what's real and what's not. But I think that's going to help even more people awaken, just like the Saturn Neptune conjunction has. And what's really like overwhelming at the beginning of a spiritual awakening that I was seeing in my client last week, kind of maybe put these pieces together, is that you're really trying to figure it all out at the beginning. You're like, I'm having all these experiences, but what do they mean? What is this trying to tell me? What do these signs mean? Like, what are these angel numbers? All the different things. You're trying to like
what does it
make
all
sense
mean?
of it. And I was telling her, just don't feel like you got to figure it all out right now because it's too much to try and figure it all out right now. And I think that's just really the lesson that we're being shown through astrology too.
Mm-hmm.
Even for those of us who are further along in our journey and have started to make sense of a few things, just to be okay with not being able to make sense of all of it. And I think we all kind of arrived there because, when you get real deep into this stuff, it doesn't make sense. And you have to just trust that what you're experiencing, what you believe is true for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I can go back to like what I was saying about like last year, we got a little bit of a taste of these outer planets and their new signs. So it was July through September where Pluto was in Aquarius because it's been there for 2 years. Neptune went into Aries briefly, as well as Saturn. And Uranus was in Gemini, which is about to move in permanently this summer.
How long will it stay there?
Uranus does its transits for about 6 to 8 years in a sign. So, yeah, I think Uranus and Gemini is going to bring a lot more technology because Uranus is ruled by Aquarius. So, same thing Pluto's doing in Aquarius. Uranus is just going to ramp that technology up even more.
Yeah. And Aquarius is air, which is a lot of like communication and stuff, right?
Yeah. So, we'll probably see more social media. New types of social media, actually, I think. Which is like, I know,
so scary.
Isn't there enough already, right?
Just as a elder millennial and as somebody who's still trying to figure out like Substack, like somebody was talking to me about how it's like more SEO friendly, and I was like, what? Yeah. Okay, I gotta look into that one. Like I'm trying on TikTok. I think it's what I got to do is like understand that like Facebook needs to really be left behind eventually. But I'm from the MySpace era. So it's like I'm holding on to it. But it does help me connect to the older generation as well.
Yeah, our family. So Facebook's for family now. Instagram's for business. TikTok is for friends.
And I think it's like a mixture of staying informed, learning. It seems like people are doing a lot of like course creation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's kind of it's whatever you make it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Uranus and Gemini, and then also this summer we will have Jupiter moving into Leo for the first time. So by July of this year, we will be in brand new energy because what I was saying about, like the different generations are shaped, we're going to be in a whole new generation, a whole new era, really a whole new eon, with the Saturn Neptune conjunction that just happened. We're in a whole new thing, whole new landscape. But we can look at what was going on in July to September in our own personal lives and collectively to kind of get an idea of what's coming for us in the second half of 2026.
So July and September through September of last year?
Yeah, so 2025, that was when we got a preview. And then all those outer planets retrograded back to the signs they were in. And now they're starting to transition back. So we've already got Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Next will be Uranus moving into Gemini, and then Jupiter will move into Leo, and then we'll be in that whole new era for good for a while.
Well, that I kind of gives me good feelings about Jupiter being in Leo because like Jupiter is like the things that expand us, right? And Leo is very much that like fire. I feel like when I picture a Leo, I feel like it's like just like the party, the life of the party. Here I am, Leos have great hair because the lion, like it's usually, that vibe. So if we're expanding on that energy for everybody, it might be like happier times.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot more people stepping into their power and stepping into the light to speak up. And I think that it will be very, very positive in that respect.
That's awesome. So how might listeners notice these shifts emotionally and in their relationships and like personal lives?
I think it really just depends on like how the planets are impacting their charts. Mm-hmm. So I listened to your intro to astrology and that was really good. I could have never explained the basics of astrology that good. So you did a really good job with that. But what you were explaining about, the different pie slices or the different houses in our chart make up a different area of our life. And so it really just depends on what houses these planets are moving into for the individuals, and that will determine how it's going to be impacting them. So, for example, if Leo is your seventh house of relationships, then when Jupiter moves in there, you're going to be having an increase in the amount of relationships you have in your life. Since Jupiter is about luck and positivity, it's going to be good connections coming into your life.
That's exciting because I have a Leo stellium in my 8th house.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know they say 8th house is like sex, death, and taxes, but I also feel like it for me is, I feel connected to it with my like spiritual journey in a way, like just like
Yeah, because our spirituality, like for me and you personally, has been through death.
Yeah.
And it's taken us to the next spiritual level through that. So yeah, you know,
And
you're about to be
connecting
going
with-
initiation when Jupiter moves there and expands those themes for you.
I'm here for it. Talk to me, spirit. I want to be Haley Joel Osment. I see dead people. I'm ready for it. I shut it all down when I was little because I was scared, but I've been like, all right, I'm ready to get back to that because I do think it has to do with like my purpose and my calling is like to be able to do that so that I can share to other people, they're like, what their loved ones want them to know from the other side, what their spirit team is trying to, get to them, messages they need.
That, and you're going to be getting more prosperity and luck and abundance in your collaborative efforts because 8th house is also about shared resources. So me and you, having some big things coming up at the end of this year.
Yeah.
That could be, really positive with Leo moving in there for you. Leo is also my 8th house whole sign. So
okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I'm pretty sure Leo's my 8th house whole sign.
No, you're probably thinking Placidus. I think it would be your 9th house whole sign.
Okay. Yes. Well, still, that's like very spiritual too.
Yeah. It's also about spiritual exploration and expanding your philosophy. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
So for the 0 degrees Aries, because this is long term, that those planets moving, like, we've got a long time that they're going to be there. So what aspect like of their chart should they look at to see what it means to them? Would it be like where Saturn is in their chart, or like what is close to that Aries placement, or what's in Aries?
Yeah, so yes, you want to look at the sign that is, so the house number in your chart that's ruled by the sign you're looking at. So if you wanted to know how the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries is affecting your chart personally, you would want to look at what house is ruled by Aries. And that number you could look up, you could listen to Jenny's other episode of what the different house numbers mean and what area of life they rule. Or you could even, I love using ChatGPT as a resource. I will say and put a disclaimer that you want to be careful. And kind of, if you know a little bit about astrology, it's a good thing because then you can kind of keep chat in check. Chat will just make stuff up if it doesn't know.
The first time that I put my stuff into ChatGPT long ago, it said that I was like a Capricorn rising or something, and I was like, no.
Yeah, you gotta
You're done here.
You gotta keep it in check, but it is very helpful for saying Neptune and Saturn just made a conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. Aries is my 4th house. What does that mean for me personally? When you prompt it in a kind of informed way, then I think it can be helpful for explaining those more nuances. And then what's really cool is that if you have a question about the information it spits back to you, then you can ask it, you know?
Or you can take that information to like, because for me, I had tried to like look at my astrology and I just decided, I want to have a person who does this. And then like I had you look at my chart and stuff. So I think that if people have those kinds of questions, they
Oh,
should
yeah.
like reach out to somebody.
Yes, absolutely. Read
But
it, get a general idea, but
but I
definitely always seek a professional.
but I think that just understanding what Saturn and Neptune do, and then looking at what house Aries is in, and
Mhm.
kind of marrying that all together like a mad lib, like an astrological mad lib,
Yeah.
would be kind of how to first start to navigate it.
Yes, absolutely. And then same with any of the other planetary shifts, like I think looking at where Aquarius is in your chart while we're in the age of Aquarius is huge to know Pluto is the planet of transformation. And because it's this slow moving long term planet, you want to kind of get an idea of the type of transformation that you're going to be going through over the next 18 years while Pluto's in Aquarius. And that can really help you understand what part of your life is going to be reshaped and what Pluto is going to be doing for you. It's cool to look at the long term stuff, and kind of like be like, huh, I can see how those themes are already happening for me.
Yeah, well, when we sat down with my chart and was like, well, that all makes sense because I feel like that's what's happening. But it was just nice to have the validation. But yeah, I feel like when you do start really looking into that stuff, for anybody who hasn't, like, know that it's going to be usually really validating of
Yeah.
like, I knew I felt that way for a reason, or like, no, yeah, this is what's right.
That, or I was feeling called to that. Thank you for validating that. So I know that I should go full force towards that direction.
Yeah.
Because we always question, like, is this really for me? Especially when it's something new, a new adventure we're going on, and we're kind of got that imposter syndrome and stuff. But when we see it in our chart, we're like, oh, it's written in the stars that I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that term. Like, it's written in the stars. It feels so magical,
Yeah.
that it's like predetermined. I mean, of course we have free will, but it feels like you have that support of the fates. And I feel like anybody who's a fantasy person, I'm a fantasy reader, fantasy loving girly, D&D, all that stuff. So like when you get into that like stars and mystical like validation, it just, I don't know, it lights something up for me.
Yeah. And it makes you be like, oh, I can really do this because I'm supposed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you that extra confidence. And when you're feeling confident, we know how that works energetically. You're going to have energy supporting you and like an easier path forward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that I'm confident and I'm going to move forward more boldly. And so doors are going to open and, people are going to be more receptive and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this full moon eclipse, 3 3. So you know a lot about like the angel numbers and stuff and what like threes usually kind of mean. What?
Yeah. 3 to me is about collaboration. It's, when we have 1, it's just about the self. When you have 2, it's about a partnership. And when you add 3, it's a group of people who are working together for a common goal.
So this lunar eclipse on March 3rd at X33, because time changes and stuff.
Yeah.
For some people it is that 3:33, and congratulations, I'm glad that you live on the West Coast.
Someone pointed out to me though that apparently 6:33, like
For
it was
us.
here, is 33:33.
I guess if you like break it down, because it's
Yeah.
like 3 plus 3.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 6 is still a, multiple of 3. So
Yeah.
I also saw this thing that was saying that today, or I guess this year, is also 333 years since the Salem witch trials.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, especially since Virgo is like the witch archetype,
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting, and I didn't look into see how true that is, but I just had a reading last week where this group of Akashic record readers were practicing, and so I was like a practice person for them, and someone told me in there that I had a past life where I was hung as a in the Salem witch trials. And I was like, that's so interesting. Like, I mean, my moon and my south node is in Taurus. So it's like possible I had a past life as a witch for sure. Especially since I had so much religious programming in this life where witch was a very taboo term for me to come around
to heal the witch wound a lot.
Yeah, to come around to that term. So I don't know.
Well, I have prepared some horoscopes for this moon. And I usually typically say that the energy that happens now, I kind of look at that through now until the new moon. Would you say, or how long do you feel like that energy stays with us?
Definitely during an eclipse. Yes, I would agree. I personally feel like we feel the energies the strongest of moons 3 days before and 3 days after the peak. But with an eclipse like this, I would absolutely agree that this energy is probably with us until the next lunation. So that would be the next new moon in 2 weeks.
Okay. So even though, because we're recording it at this March 3rd, when you're hearing this still applies to you.
Absolutely.
As long as you don't put off listening to this episode. Just kidding. Listen at your leisure. But I wanted to do the horoscopes kind of more not by sign, because I feel like a lot of people do their horoscopes by sun sign, where like there's so many more parts that are important.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do it what house your moon is, not by signs.
Okay, that's interesting. I've never looked at it that way before.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to know if it resonates.
So I kind of went through and looked at like, okay, if your moon's in the first house, this is what that means, and then applied it. So we can kind of go back and forth if you want. So if your moon lives in the first house, this Virgo lunar eclipse in 3/3 is rewriting the story of who you are when you walk into a room. And with the eclipse tension, this portal spotlights how harsh self-critique and perfectionistic self-presentation have been dimming your natural vitality and self-expression. This is your moment to release the old costume of I'll be lovable when XYZ. I'll be lovable when I'm flawless, and let your body and your identity be works in progress instead of projects to fix, which I kind of feel like people should carry that energy all the time. Like, love yourself where you're at. That's my personal philosophy, because our bodies do a lot for us and we need to be nicer to them.
Yeah.
But for integration, you can lean into the 3/3 energy by speaking to yourself in a way a loving guide would, and let your intuition move and introduce you. Your presence is the spell.
I love that, because I've heard that, like, speak to yourself the way your best friend would speak to you. And so it's like, you wouldn't be a bitch to your best friend.
No. If you would, then you're not a very good friend.
Yeah, no. Not my best friend. So if your moon lives in the second house, this 3/3 Virgo lunar eclipse is activating your relationship with money, security, and self-worth. The 3/3 portal shows you where you've been itemizing your value in productivity, income, or how perfectly you manage your resources. So with this being a South Node eclipse, it's time to release scarcity stories and Virgo style nitpicking over every coin and skill, especially the belief that you aren't enough unless you're constantly producing. Right. So like if you're tying your worth to how much productivity you can put out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And use the number 3's creative current to affirm new worth. Speak blessings over your skills, track evidence of your value beyond numbers, and invest what nourishes your spirit.
Yeah. Like self-worth, it doesn't have to be what you do for others or put out into the universe. It can be like you are innately valuable just because.
Yes, and I love the last part here about second house, which a lot of people, they think about second house as like, oh, money's coming to me, when really second house can really be about investing in yourself too. And more money is coming to you, but it's through getting a return of investment.
Yeah. I wonder if it could be seen as money, but also like just investment of resources, right? So, like
Yeah.
here for us in our society, it's money, but a resource that might be valuable to you is time or energy or
Connections with
connections.
people.
Yeah. All right. So if your moon is in the third house, it's 3-3 eclipse. That's really crazy. Third house, 3-3, 3-3-3. You're threeing it out.
Yeah.
This eclipse portal lights up your mind, your voice, and daily rhythm. The cosmos is mirroring your overactive inner communicator, anxious thought loops, and hyper scheduled days that leave no room for curiosity or play. You're ready to release your impulse to over explain or overanalyze and micromanage every conversation or errand. For integration, you want to channel the 333 energy into playful communication, short spells, voice notes, journaling, and gentle routes through your day that prioritize joy and honest expression.
Yep. And if your moon is in the fourth house, then this Virgo eclipse ripples through your roots, home, and emotional foundations. The 3-3 activation magnifies where you've become the meticulous caregiver or emotional janitor for your family, carrying responsibilities that keep your inner child on pause. This is a portal to release inherited guilt around needing rest, privacy, and an imperfect lived in home. Let the energy of 3 guide you to create a home ritual. 3 intentional acts, one for the body, one for the heart, and one for your spirit, that make your space feel safe for your softness.
Oh,
Yes, that's where my Saturn Neptune conjunction is in the fourth house. And so those themes are really big for me right now.
yeah.
Yep.
We all need a little softness from time to time.
Yes, absolutely.
If your moon lives in the fifth house, this eclipse is a creative initiation around romance, pleasure, and self expression. The 333 current highlights how perfectionism and self consciousness have been censoring your art, your flirting, and your fun. So you're being asked to release the belief that joy must be earned, polished, or on brand before it's allowed. And for integration with the 333, by making or doing something imperfect and playful in threes, 3 lines of a poem, 3 minutes of just dance party, no structure, 3 tiny acts of unapologetic pleasure.
That's where my moon is the fifth house. So
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I have to like rethink this whole eclipse because I always think of it through my rising sign lens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of this definitely does resonate. So if your moon is in the sixth house, um, this 3-3 Virgo lunar eclipse lands directly in the realm of your work, health, and daily rituals. The 3-3-3 energy poses martyr patterns where you overfunction in service, obsess over routines, or criticize your body or your output. This is your chance to release the script that says you must overwork, overfix, and oversacrifice to be worthy of rest or support. Let the vibration of 3 reshape your day into a healing trinity. One choice for your body, one for your mind, and one for your spirit. Done with kindness instead of pressure.
If you have a moon in the seventh house, this 3-3 eclipse illuminates the emotional contracts in your partnerships. This is the house of the one-to-one. 3-3-3, the universe is underlining where you've been tallying resentments, correcting others, or bending into a perfect partner while neglecting your own needs. Don't do that. You're invited to release patterns of quiet scorekeeping and Virgo style fixing that block genuine intimacy and reciprocity. Use the 333 as a relationship spell. 3 honest conversations, 3 clear boundaries, 3 appreciations spoken out loud to rebalance your give and take. So, some gratitude, some boundaries, And some honesty, I think, can go a long way in helping a relationship flourish of any sort.
Yeah, absolutely. And if your moon is in the 8th house, this 3 Virgo lunar eclipse opens the vault of intimacy, shared resources, and shadow work. So the 333 portal reveals where you've been managing everyone else's crises, over analyzing your own wounds, or controlling how vulnerable you're allowed to be. This is a moment to release emotional entanglements rooted in guilt, obligation, or fear, and to clear psychic and financial cords that keep you feeling small. So invite the 3 current into your underworld by doing a 3-part release ritual. Name what you're releasing, declare what you're reclaiming, and call in the guides who support your transformation.
So, ninth house moon. If your moon lives in the ninth house, this eclipse portal fans out across your beliefs, study, and spiritual path. Your soul may notice where rigid rules, spiritual comparison, or getting it right have shrunk your sense of wonder. To release, you're ready to release dogma and the Virgoan urge to over-perfect your path before you let yourself explore it. And I feel like that kind of follows the like, you don't have to know it all right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the number 3 guide you to expansion. 3 questions to ask your guides, 3 pages of study or reflection, or 3 small adventures that stretch your faith in a joyful way.
Fun.
So maybe like a meditation,
Maybe trying a new coffee shop that you normally, that you've been wanting to try, but you don't know anybody there, so you're nervous, that kind of adventurous thing.
Yeah.
If your moon is in the 10th house, this eclipse shines on your vocation, visibility, and legacy. So this is your career house. And the 3-3 activation highlights where your emotional security is entangled with external approval, metrics, and curating the perfect public image. So you'll want to release at this time the impossible standards of success and the belief that you must constantly perform and show your competence to be safe. Partner with the 333 by crafting a new calling story. 3 sentences about why you do what you do that centers your authentic heart, not just your resume.
Yeah. Why statements are so important to like keep you on track of like all those little things don't matter because the big picture is like, this is why, this is my emotional tie to this.
Absolutely. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, 10th house is a really big theme for us. And we can get tied up in just trying to like grind it out because, this is our livelihood. This is how we survive is our income. So we can get caught up in the money. But coming back to that, why do I do this? Who am I really trying to help? Can really
recenter yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your moon lives in the 11th house, the 3-3 eclipse portal energizes your friendships, communities, and future visions. The universe points out where you've become the planner, the organizer, or emotional anchor for everyone else's dreams except your own. So you're being asked to release people pleasing, over organizing, and timelines that don't actually belong to you. To integrate, we want to use the magic of 3 to reweave your future. Choose 3 desires that are truly yours. Speak them aloud to trusted allies and take one small aligned step for each. And sometimes, even if it's not trusted allies, I think sometimes the most powerful magic is just like speaking it to the wind or going and telling the water or the trees, because
I think telling it to strangers too, because people that know you kind of want to like put their 2 cents in of like, you've never done that before. Are you sure? Like you can do that? Whereas like a stranger is like, yeah, you got that, because they don't have any preconceived ideas about you.
Yeah. Yeah. They can see the vision, whereas other people have like, not even on purpose, but their own limiting beliefs about you.
Yeah. So, if your moon is in the 12th house, this lunar eclipse moves through your subconscious, rest, and spiritual connection. The 333 energy brings into focus your hidden self criticism, quiet burnout, and any behind the scenes habits that drain your spirit. So, you'll want to release self undoing patterns, martyrdom in the unseen realms, and the belief that you must carry everything alone in silence. Invite the 333 vibration into your inner sanctuary with a 3-layer practice: 3 minutes of stillness, 3 truths you whisper to your soul, and 3 invitations to your guides or higher self for support.
Yay! That was fun.
Yes.
That's all really cool. So I encourage you to look at your natal chart, see what house your moon is in, and apply that. And if you really want to get fancy with it, you can also see like what your moon sign is and account for that energy and how that might even personalize it even more. It just gets really fun. I think so. I kind of nerd out about it.
Yeah, I like hearing all the different ways that people can interpret too, because it doesn't have to just be based on our sun or rising. We can, especially when it's a moon transit we're looking at, we can look at our moon too.
Yeah. And I feel like too, when we want to look at how things are going to affect us emotionally, is looking like how the moon plays into it, like that. It's just that inner world, that inner sanctuary, how we talk to ourselves and process, like, and filter everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
As per usual, I have some journaling questions or even just self reflection questions that you can use just to kind of personalize this a little bit more for you and use as a tool to move through this energy. The first question would be, where am I still trying to perfect myself, my healing, or my life before I let myself enjoy it? What would shift if I allow things to be in process instead?
yep. And another journal prompt, in case you want to go a little bit deeper. What am I ready to release around over responsibility? Because these are Virgo themes for work, family, friends, money, or emotions. And what specific responsibilities can I actually delegate to someone else, soften within my own being, or step back from for now?
And then if 3-3 at 333 is the portal into my next chapter, or just this eclipse energy in general, what are 3 qualities or feelings I want to carry forward with me? And what 3 small practical actions can I commit to that anchor them daily in life? So, like this, a lot of times eclipses and that type of thing, it's about like release and change. But when we release and when we change things, we are making room for new things to begin. So even though this is a big energy release, it's good to start thinking about like what things we want to call in to take that place.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this one being the South Node eclipse, it's even more about the things that we're trying to get rid of because they're not serving us. And that helps to make space for the things that are serving us.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Tell them where they can find you, like what your socials or.
Yeah. So for any events that I'm hosting, you can check out theholistictreehouse.com. If you're interested in getting an astrology reading or keeping up on the current astrology, I create a lot of astrology content at Rooted in Reality Healing is my name on Instagram. I'm also at the Holistic Treehouse on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. And I'll tag your contact info below so it's easy to find. I highly recommend checking out Megan's individual content for sure, as well as just all the things going on, especially if you're local in the 757 Hampton Roads, because it's just a really great resource and place to come if you're looking for guidance, connection, community, all of the above, healing. And as always, as per usual, I'm at Hex and Hair on Instagram, on TikTok. You can check out my website, hexandhair.com. And yeah, that's it. We will see you in the next one. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. I'm proud of you for being here, and have a wonderful next moon phase. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.